The cabin of Aerovista Flight 721 buzzed with the usual pre-departure shuffle, seat belts snapping, overhead bins slamming, parents settling children. But none of the noise mattered to 10-year-old twins, Ava and Amir Dalton, seated quietly in row 3. They were identical in every way except temperament, Ava bold and outspoken, Amir gentle and observant. Both carried matching medical pouches clipped to their backpacks, life-saving medication for a rare allergic condition. Their father, Darius Dalton, had stepped off the aircraft momentarily for a security verification, leaving them with instructions. "Don't move. I'll be back before takeoff." But then the lead attendant appeared, eyes narrowing the moment she saw the twins. "You two shouldn't have those bags out," she snapped. Amir tried to explain softly. "It's our medicine, our dad said," but she cut him off. "I don't care what he said. You people always carry too much nonsense on flights." Before the twins could react, she snatched the pouches and strode toward the galley. Ava gasped, leaping to her feet. "Wait! That's our medicine! He needs it, he can't breathe without it." Passengers looked up, some startled, others annoyed, but the attendant's voice sliced through the air. "Sit down or you'll be removed from this flight." Amir's eyes shimmered with panic as he clutched his chest, already feeling the tightness that warned a reaction was coming. Ava's voice broke. "Please, please don't throw it away." But the sound of a metal lid slamming shut ended all hope. The attendant had dumped their medication straight into the trash compactor. Amir wheezed. Ava sobbed. Panic erupted. A passenger shouted, "They're kids! What are you doing?" But the attendant waved them off, muttering, "Drama. Always drama." That's when the plane door reopened. A tall figure stepped back into the cabin, calm, powerful, unaware of the catastrophe unfolding. Until he saw Ava crying. Until he saw Amir gasping. And until he heard a trembling whisper. "Daddy, she threw away our medicine." Darius Dalton, billionaire owner of Dalton Innovations and majority stakeholder of Aerovista Airlines, froze. The entire aircraft shifted as if gravity itself tightened. Then his expression changed, slowly, dangerously, as he turned toward the galley with a look that could stop the planet. Darius moved through the aisle with a quietness that was more terrifying than rage. He passed shocked passengers, each one parting instinctively, as though recognizing the presence of a man who wielded power effortlessly. When he reached his children, he knelt and placed a hand on Amir's back, feeling the shallow, ragged breaths. "Where is it?" he asked softly. Ava pointed toward the galley, voice cracking. She said we can't bring medicine. She threw it away." Darius stood. The transformation was instantaneous. Father to protector to executive, executive to force of nature. He walked into the galley, where the attendant stiffened at the sight of him, recognizing the face she had seen on company newsletters and corporate announcements. "Sir, I don't speak," he said calmly. "Just show me where my children's medication is." She stammered. "It was violating. I assumed, you assumed," Darius repeated, voice low. "You assumed you recognized trouble when you saw 2 black children sitting alone. You assumed their belongings weren't necessary. And you assumed you had the authority to discard medical equipment." His hand rested on the trash compactor door. Passengers leaned into the aisle, watching the moment the airline's most powerful man confronted the cruelty that had nearly harmed his children. Darius pressed the intercom button. The cabin fell silent. "This is Darius Dalton," he announced. Gasps rippled. "We are not taking off. This flight is officially grounded." Audible shocks swept through the plane. The captain rushed out of the cockpit. "Sir, surely protocol says..." "Protocol?" Darius repeated. "Protocol would have protected my children. Protocol would have prevented one of your attendants from endangering 2 minors under the guise of authority." He pointed at the attendant, who had gone pale. "She is removed from duty. Immediately." Security was called. Passengers applauded. Others sat stunned, absorbing the magnitude of what they had witnessed. Darius wasn't done. "Every second we remain on this aircraft, my son risks anaphylaxis. We will not move until emergency services deliver replacement medication. His voice softened only when he returned to Amir, gently helping him sip water while passengers bowed their heads, ashamed, supportive, horrified, awakening to the reality of what prejudice looks like when it hides behind a uniform. Paramedics arrived within minutes, rushing down the aisle with injections and antihistamines, stabilizing Amir as Darius held him close, whispering reassurances the boy clung to like lifelines. Ava sat against him, curled beneath his arm, trembling from the ordeal. The hostile attendant was escorted off the plane, unable to meet the eyes of the very passengers who had witnessed her cruelty. When the cabin finally quieted, Darius stood once more, not as the billionaire, not as the shareholder, but as a father determined to make sure what happened to his children would never happen again. "Ladies and gentlemen," he said, his voice steady but weighted with emotion, "my children were placed in danger today because someone decided that their existence looked suspicious. This ends now." He announced an immediate overhaul of onboard medical protocol, mandatory anti-bias retraining for all staff, and a new policy allowing children's medical items to remain in sight at all times. Passengers applauded, not out of politeness, but out of respect for a man who refused to let silence be the norm. As the plane finally prepared for a delayed takeoff, Ava squeezed her father's hand. "Daddy," she whispered, "you saved us." Darius kissed the top of her head. "I always will. But the world needs to do better." As the aircraft lifted into the sky, the entire cabin carried the weight of what they had witnessed, and the hope that they would never forget it. If this story hit you, if it made your heart race, your stomach drop, your voice catch, don't let it fade. Speak up in the comments. What moment shook you the most? When the twins begged to keep their medicine? When Amir struggled to breathe while help was ignored? Or when their father stepped in and brought an entire aircraft to a standstill? Your reaction matters. Your voice matters. Stories like this shine a bright, uncomfortable light on the moments people often dismiss as accidents or misunderstandings, but they're not. They reveal how quickly bias can turn dangerous, and why we cannot afford to stay silent. If this video opened your eyes, share it. Someone else needs to feel what you just felt. And if you want more stories that expose injustice, uplift resilience, and force the world to look in the mirror, hit like, subscribe, and stay connected. Every comment you leave pushes these stories further, reaching people who need to hear them. Your engagement is more than numbers, it's a statement. A choice to care. A refusal to look away. Thank you for watching, for feeling, and for choosing to be part of a community that doesn't stay quiet when it matters most. The work continues, and so do we.